Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Mr. Moderman again. Just going to take you through a second portion of Act 5. We left off with the last video where the Duke had just dismissed Antonio and was waiting to talk to Olivia. He had finally showed up. So once again here, this is the entire play. Maybe you're following along with your book, but we're going to be in Act 5 where we left off here. Says, where the Duke says, here comes the Countess. Okay, he sees Olivia coming as he's talking to Antonio. And he says, now heaven walks on earth. Again, it's a compliment about her physical beauty, very much Eros love, which we've talked about. And then he dismisses Antonio, but for thee, fellow, thy words are madness. 3 months this youth have attended on me, but more of that anon, take him aside. Now Olivia shows up. She's honoring the Duke because he's finally come to her house. But remember, we know something that the Duke doesn't know. We know that Olivia is already married. She married Sebastian, who she thinks is Cesario. So she thinks that she's married to Cesario. And who is with the Duke right now? Cesario. So she looks at the Duke, and Cesario is standing next to the Duke, and she's like, hey, what are you doing? So you're going to see right away she's very cold with the Duke. Look at her first lines here, right here. What would my lord that he may not have, wherein Olivia may seem serviceable? Cesario, you do not keep promise with me. Cesario, where did you go? We got married and you left. What's going on? Viola, right, says, Madam? Like, what are you talking about? The Duke says, gracious Olivia, right? He's finally got the courage to make his plea here to her in person. What do you say? Cesario, good, my lord. But this is interesting right here because she's dismissing the Duke. Good, my lord. Hang on a second here. I need to talk to Cesario. So again, she's paying more attention to Cesario, who she thinks she's married to, than the Duke. Viola says, my lord would speak, my duty hushes me. I can't talk to you right now because of the Duke. She looks at the Duke and she says this, if it be aught to the old tune, my lord, it is fat and falsome to mine ear, it is howling after music. Basically, are you here again to tell me how much you love me? Because if that's why you're here, I don't want to hear it. It's as fat and falsome to mine ear as howling after music. Okay, it's offensive to me. The Duke responds, still so cruel? And she says, still so constant, Lord. Ooh, yes, I don't want anything to do with you, the Duke. And she's already married. Now the Duke changes here. He gets upset. What? To perverseness? You uncivil lady, whose ingrate and unauspicious altars my soul hath faithfulest offerings have breathed out, that ere devotion tendered, what shall I do? You can see he's starting to get upset here. Right? He's like, okay, I came all the way over here to talk to you, and you're paying more attention to Cesario than me. What's going on? Cesario, remember, has been traveling back and forth. The Duke might be figuring some things out here. Even what it please my lord, that shall become him. Now look at what the Duke says here. He's figured this out. Why should I not, had I the heart to do it, like the Egyptian thief at point of death, kill what I love? Kill what I love. What's he referring to? He's referring to Cesario. He has figured it out. He's like, okay, I know what's going on here. I've been sending you over to Olivia for me, and you two have been messing around behind my back. A savage jealousy that sometimes savors nobly. But hear me this. Since you in your non-regardance cast my faith, and that I partly know the instrument here is key. The instrument is Cesario, that screws me from my place in your true favor. Live you, the marble-breasted tyrant, still. Fine, Olivia, you go ahead and be this cold-hearted lady, okay? You can stay that way. But, what's he going to do? But this your minion, he's referring to Cesario, whom I know you love, and whom I, by heaven, I swear I tender dearly, him will I tear out of that cruel eye, where he sits crowned in his master's spite. Okay? I'm still the Duke. I am taking Cesario with me. And there's even a threat of death here, right? Come, boy, with me, my thoughts are ripe in mischief. I'll sacrifice the lamb that I do love to spite a raven's heart within a dove. I mean, he's upset here. He's threatening to kill Cesario, possibly, because he's so angry with what's been happening behind his back. Now look at Viola. This is a bit cheesy. It's a bit rom-com, right? And I, most junk and apt and willing to do you rest, 1,000 deaths would die. Oh, I'll die for you, the Duke. Oh, okay. It's so, emotional and dramatic. But they're about to go off together and leave Olivia. Now remember, Olivia thinks that she's married. She says, "Where goes Cesario?" And Viola says, "After him that I love." Remember, she loves the Duke. "More than I love these eyes, more than my life, more by all mores than e'er I shall love wife. If I do feign, you witnesses above, punish my life for tainting my love." So Viola says, "I love the Duke." Now, Olivia's completely confused. She's like, "We just got married." Okay, obviously the problem here is that she didn't marry Cesario. She married Sebastian. And where's Sebastian? Where did he go? "I me detested, how am I beguiled?" Viola responds by, "Who does beguile you? Who does do you wrong?" Olivia says, "Hast thou forgot thyself? Is it so long? Call forth the Holy Father." Now this is important. This is what I think we have to understand. Shakespeare is doing something unique here. And what he's doing is that Sebastian married Olivia. And some of us were like, why would he do that? Well, okay, let's think about this for a second. Sebastian suddenly marries this beautiful countess. Well, what's he looking for, right? Well, he's looking for eros love. He's looking for physical love, right? He's looking for a one-night stand. And they get married, right? He does what he wants to do with Olivia, and she wakes up and he's gone. So she thinks she's been betrayed by Cesario. She hasn't been betrayed by Cesario. It's more likely that she's been betrayed by Sebastian. But she calls the priest. The Duke says, "Come away." "Whither, my lord?" "Cesario, husband." This is the key word, "stay." The Duke turns around and says, "Husband?" Olivia says, "Aye, husband, can he that deny?" And the Duke says, "Her husband, sirrah? Are you her husband? Have you gotten married to this woman?" Viola says, "No, my lord, not I." Olivia says, "Oh, yes, you have. Alas, it is the basis of thy fear that makes thee strangle thy propriety. Fear not, Cesario, take thy fortunes up. Be that thou knowest thou art, and then thou art as great as thou fearest," right? It's okay. You can tell him what happened, right? Don't be afraid. The priest enters. "Oh, welcome, Holy Father. Father, I charge thee by thy reference to here unfold, though lately we intended to keep in darkness, what occasion now reveals before 'tis ripe. What thou dost know hath newly passed between this youth and me." Right? So she's like, I know we were going to keep it secret, but you can tell everybody. Well, the priest says this: "You guys are married, a contract of eternal bond of love, confirmed by mutual joinder of your hands, attested by the holy closeness of your lips, strengthened by the interchangement of your rings, right? And all in ceremony, this compact sealed by my function, by my testimony," right? 2 hours ago, he says. He says, you guys are married. The Duke is completely devastated. "Oh, thou dissembling cub, what wilt thou be when time hath sowed a grizzle on thy case? Or will not else thy craft so quickly grow that thine own trip shall be thine to overthrow? Farewell, and take her. But direct thy feet where thou and I henceforth may never meet." Basically, Duke's like, fine, if you're married, I can't do anything. I can't kill you, I can't take you away, but I never want to see you again. Well, Viola's completely devastated because she's in love with the Duke, right? So again, we see Shakespeare's making this more complex. It started with Antonio at the beginning of the act, and now it's with Olivia and the Duke and Viola. Olivia says, "I do not swear. Hold little faith. Thou hast feared too much." You can do. It's okay. You can be with me. Now this is crazy. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Sir Andrew comes running on the scene, holding his head. He's bleeding. "For the love of God, a surgeon! Send one presently to Sir Toby." Olivia says, "What's the matter? What's going on, Andrew?" "He has broke my head across and has given Sir Toby a bloody coxcomb too. For the love of God, your help. I'd rather than 40 pound I were at home." Andrew's flipping out. He's bleeding. Apparently Sir Toby has been attacked, and they've both been attacked, right? And this interrupts this scene with this sort of comic episode. She says, "Who has done this, Sir Andrew?" "The Count's gentleman, one Cesario. We took him for the coward, but he's the very devil incarnate." Okay, now Cesario is not only married to Olivia, he's being accused of attacking Toby and Andrew. Well, that's not true. That didn't happen. We didn't see that. But they've been attacked. Who's attacked them? Who could it be? Some of you are starting to put this together, right? Somebody attacked them. Somebody beat them up. Well, who would want to do that? The Duke says, my gentleman Cesario did this? Odds of lifelings, there he is. You broke my head for nothing, and that I did I was set on to by Sir Toby. Viola says, what? What are you talking about? Why do you speak to me? I never hurt you. You drew your sword upon me without cause. That I bespoke you fair and did not hurt you. If a bloody coxcomb be a hurt, you have hurt me. Right? I think you set nothing by a bloody coxcomb. Then Toby comes in with Festi. Here comes Sir Toby halting. You shall hear more. But if he did not bid and drink, he would have tickled you other gates that he did. You know, Andrew says he would have beat you up, but he was drunk. Well, Sir Toby's always drunk, right? The Duke says, how now, gentlemen? How is it with you? Oh, it's all one. He has hurt me, says Sir Toby. There's an end on it. Did thou see Dick's surgeon sought? He's talking to Festi, right? Where's the surgeon? Because my head's busted up. I need stitches, right? The clown says, oh, he's drunk, Sir Toby, an hour gone. His eyes were set at 8 a.m. Toby says, then he's a rogue, a passy measures patent. I hate a drunken rogue. Well, of course, Toby, you're the drunk, right? Of course, anyway, this whole scene is creating more dramatic irony, and it's creating more tension and more blame on Cesario for things that Cesario obviously couldn't have done. Cesario did not marry Olivia. Cesario did not beat up Toby and Andrew. But Cesario is receiving all the blame. So Shakespeare continues to make the plot more and more complex. Olivia says, away with him who has made this havoc with them. Like, who's doing this? Well, we know now probably who's done it, but he's not here. He's not on stage right now. Sir Andrew says, I'll help you, Sir Toby. We'll be dressed together. Let's go get bandaged up. And look at what Toby does. He completely turns on Andrew here. Will you help? An ass head and a coxcomb and a knave, a thin-faced knave, a gull? So Toby finally lets Sir Andrew know what he thinks of him. I've been stealing your money forever, right? You've been paying for all my alcohol, but I hate you. Get out of here. So Andrew is humiliated. Olivia just simply says, get him to bed and let his hurt be looked to. Now, if you look ahead here, you'll see that, right, the clown, Fabian, Toby, and Andrew exit, and somebody else enters. Oh, Sebastian. He's the person we need to solve this problem. So this is the point where Shakespeare begins to solve things. We're going to take a break here. This will be the end of this video, and we'll pick it up in the next video where Sebastian enters and we begin to see a resolution to this problem.